essa saída.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Nick. I'd like to welcome you to the Giant Panda Research Station here at the San Diego Zoo. I'm one of the Giant Panda researchers here, and so if you have any questions, please feel free to ask. That's why I am here. Today we have 2 of our 3 pandas out on exhibit for you guys to take a look at. First panda you are going to see as we make the way up the rampway is our adult female, Bayun. Bayun is our mother panda, and she is 20 years old. And she weighs in right now at about 200 to 220 pounds. Now she fluctuates on a regular basis between these 2 weights. And that actually is the average weight for the average adult female in the wild. Now, as you continue to make your way up the rampway, you're going to see one of her cubs, her son, Yunza. Yunza right now is eating some of his lunch right in the front part of the exhibit. And Yunza just had his 2nd birthday 2 months ago today, on August 5th. And so he's technically no longer considered a cub, but more of an adolescent teenager, although we still think of him as our cub. He is our 5th cub born here, and our 2nd male. All 5 of our panda cubs were born here at the San Diego Zoo, here at our Giant Panda Research Facility. And all 5 are the offspring of Bayun, our adult female. Bayun has been here since we opened our facility 15 years ago in 1996. She's been here that whole time, and she has given birth to all of our cubs. And she's been a very good and a very successful mother. Now Yunza right here, at 2 years and 2 months today, weighs roughly 140 pounds. And he's got a lot more growing to do before he's fully grown.
Making a mess.
Yunza could potentially weigh up to somewhere between 190 and 275 pounds. So if he did reach 275 pounds, that would be slightly under double what he is now. So picture him twice the size that he is now, and that's potentially how big he could get. Now both male and female pandas, when they're fully grown, can reach up to 5 to 6 feet in length. They're not very tall though. They have much shorter limbs in comparison to other bear species. Their front limbs are longer than the back limbs. But even so, they are still much lower to the ground, so they are much shorter. They can stand up on their hind legs, although they do not do it often, and they can't walk on them like other bears can. Pandas are not the smallest of the bear species, but they are on the smaller side. The smallest being the sun bear, and the largest being the polar bear. Now we do have a third giant panda who lives here at the San Diego Zoo. That is Yunza's father. And his name is Gao Gao. Now today Gao Gao is off exhibit. Gao Gao, like Bayun, is also 20 years old. He is much smaller. As I was saying before about Yunza, the average male does usually weigh somewhere between 190 and 275 pounds. Gao Gao weighs in roughly between 150 to 160. So that's about 30 to 40 pounds smaller than the average smaller sized panda. And there's really no specific reason other than the fact that he just has the genetics of a smaller panda. He just has the genetics of a smaller bear. Now that's just variation in the species. That happens in all animals, even humans. And so some are bigger and some are smaller. So he is just a smaller panda bear.
All the dirt on it.
So we just had a question about why he's not eating all of it as he's shredding. What he's doing is he's actually taking the bark off of the bamboo. Pandas eat almost all of the bamboo except for a few parts. They're not going to eat the roots and the shoots, nor do they eat the bark. Now the bark is a lot more stringy, which makes it harder to swallow, and as I'm sure you can imagine, bamboo is already difficult to swallow. It's also more tough and more bitter than the rest of the bamboo. And so what Yunz is doing now is he's trying to break pieces off, and he's going to strip the majority of that bark off, and then he will eat the woody middle stalk part. They do love the leaves as well, and he will eat those thinner branches which dangling off right now, that long piece. He will eat that as well, although they really do prefer the stalk first, and then the leaves, and if they're still hungry, which usually they are, and if there's anything left, they will eat those branches as well. Now, there are very few animals that actually eat bamboo as the main part of their diet. There are a lot of insects that eat bamboo, but I'm not including them in that statement. Most animals tend to stay away from bamboo because of its difficulty in terms of how difficult it is to digest, how difficult it is to break and chew. But that is 99% of their diet, bamboo. And in the wild, they're eating about 30 pounds of bamboo each day.
He has a hammock?
Now here at the San Diego Zoo, we give them a little bit more than 30 pounds. We're giving them about 35 to 40 pounds each day. And there's a reason for that. And that's because in the wild, pandas are eating bamboo fresh, right out of the ground, getting all of that nutrition right away. But here we don't grow the bamboo in the exhibits because they would eat it all before it ever had a chance to grow. But we do grow it here at the San Diego Zoo, and it does get harvested daily for them. It's kept in a large refrigerator so that it stays chilled and fresh as long as possible. But during that refrigeration process, it does lose a little bit of its nutrition. And so because of that, we do give them that 5 to 10 pounds extra each day. Now, bamboo does contain a lot of nutrition, although it's very difficult for most animals to get that nutrition. And so over time, pandas have evolved to be able to get that nutrition out of the bamboo, and they do have to eat that much more of it because of its difficulty in digestion.